I'm Romain Reed and welcome to the behind the scenes of my latest brand film, The Visual Alchemist. So the reason why I created this film was to kind of express my own creativity and the different elements which I basically work on. That's me as a creative. It's me as somebody who goes into a flow state through music and seeing colours almost like from a synesthesia point of view. There's a part of what I call like the yin and yang, which is the different elements of me, where there's certain ideas that pull me in one direction and certain ideas that pull me in another direction. And then that comes out in my work. And then from there, it's me as a writer, as somebody who likes to, bring ideas to the table from a screenplay perspective. Me as a director, me as an editor, how I take all of the pieces of things that I capture and then how I bring it together in a way like a visual alchemist and turn it into some kind of magic, some kind of gold that people can enjoy. The time and the dedication that Jonathan, Martin and Biz brought to the table was invaluable for this project. Because it allowed us to be able to sort of bounce off of each other and problem solve in the studio, especially for some of the more complex elements of the visual effects.
Yeah, so it's going to be a variation, so you're going to have like blah, 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 but it's going to be like bang, bang, yeah, like that sort of thing.
So we spent a lot of time just trying to make sure that how I basically had it in my head was achievable on set, and we definitely done that. So I really appreciate the work and the dedication that those guys put in. So an absolute key part of this film which brought everything together was the music. I wanted a musical piece which tied in well with my personality and my culture and my background. So Brandon came in, he understood the brief completely, and we went back and forth on a few ideas, basically just talking about how we're going to bring this together. So if you imagine as I'm looking around, you got like there's going to be things. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, what's happening? Like, basically the place is vibrating with sound. Do you get what I'm saying?
Accents, yeah.
If this comes off, like it needs to blow people's heads off. That just really kind of encapsulated the whole piece, and it just tied it together in a way that wouldn't have been possible without it. It was basically a piece of me, a piece of my personality created from Brandon himself. So Brandon Augustus as a producer for me is amazing. He is just a talent, just a mad talent. Editing this film was probably the longest process because I would say about 80 to 85% of it was shot in a green screen studio, so it meant a lot more work for me to do. Through editing things like the scene of me falling through the clouds, that took a lot of time and a lot of crafting because I wanted to make sure that it felt right. There was a lot of sort of trial and error of getting the physics right, like how quickly would I move through the sky? What would the camera look like if you had a camera there? Would it be static, or would it, adding things like, the camera shake, all of these different things that had to be added in post to try and make it feel as natural as possible. The fashion grid, as I call it, was interesting because obviously I've used the treadmill for that. And the main challenge for this one was to be able to figure out the timing of when I'm gonna have these characters of myself basically overlapping so that they didn't basically crash into each other, so that it felt like it was exactly how it should be in real life. So originally for the cartoon scene, I had shots which I took a few years ago in a trampoline park that I took with my drone. So those shots was for me just to kind of be bouncing towards the camera. So I basically used those shots. Didn't use any AI or anything like that. I know that's the buzz now, but I basically just done it old school of just rotoscoping and tracing just the elements of the body to be able to create that cartoon feel and then put that together to create the piece that it was. So ultimately, this film was created to be able to take you on a journey of my creative process as a director, as a filmmaker, as a writer, and to basically just showcase all the different elements of me and my personality and what makes me tick. So I hope you enjoyed the journey, and thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you want to work with me as a director, feel free to hit me up on my website, which is www.romainreed.com, and I look forward to seeing you there. Take care.